everybody. This
Hello.
is episode 26,
26.
and we have a lovely guest today.
The loveliest of them all.
Yes, are you two old-time friends?
Oh, yeah.
Well, tell us about that then.
Well, we know each other for a we know of each other for a long time, but we actually met 10 years ago.
10.
Yeah, because when I attended MI, I started playing with a Brazilian guitarist. And then when that Brazilian guitarist went to Brazil and recorded his album, André was the one who recorded the album. So we knew of each other. So today, episode number 26. People, subscribe to our channel. Make Kira happy. She's smiling and everything. And we have the great Brazilian drummer, André Gonzales. No, keep smiling. And we have the great Brazilian drummer, André Gonzales. Because we're longtime friends, I know everything he's going to say. So you start, Kira.
Almost everything.
Well, first thing I want to say is congrats, because I was reading that I think Don Famularo was listing like top teachers, educators, and you were included.
Because he's my friend, you know.
Like, just put his name down.
Yeah.
I was in his list on MD Modern Drummers list of the teachers he recommends here in Brazil.
Mm.
So I guess I was lucky.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit better than being lucky, but all right.
Yeah, for
Right.
sure. So, you know what? I was reading.
Start with your question, the question you always want to ask, Kira. Go ahead.
Well, that's what I was going to dive in and just say, well, I read that you actually started teaching when you were 14.
Yeah.
And so you would be an expert to answer what is missing from drum education.
I think bottom end, I think what is missing in music education is music. I think the teachers, the courses, the programs are focusing too much on the instrument and not on the music, and not on music. That's why we have so many technicians, technical prodigies today, and I don't think their music is so interesting. I see kids all around the world playing marvelously, but I don't see them interested in making music. And that comes, from my point of view, right behind in the teaching class with the teacher, or the classes are focused on the rudiments, on the instrument, on the technical aspects of the thing. That is not wrong. That is nothing wrong with that. But I think music is being forgotten. I think it sums it up. It sums it up. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I agree to a certain extent, because I more and more I'm asking my students, you know, what music to listen to, and more they do this.
Yes.
You know, I'm like, okay.
It's a sad thing, you know.
Yeah.
Eddie Van Halen died yesterday, and that made me think about a lot of things. And that question you just asked me was one of them. What about the new generations? Are they have guitar heroes or drumming heroes, or to inspire them to change the world? I don't think so. That's a very important question we have to think about.
It's what I see with my young students is that they want to be producers. You
Yeah.
know, um, they play the drums, but they don't even have the goal of joining a band or jamming with their friends.
It's just that sad thing.
Yeah, they want to be producers, but and one thing I'll tell them all the time is how do you think a producer becomes a producer? Is a guy who used to be a musician and then got the experience and then he started producing other musicians. You cannot
Most
start.
most good drummers I know, Simon Phillips, uh, a lot of drummers, they are very good producers, but they are very good drummers before all that.
And have been playing for a long time before they've produced the
Yeah.
first album or the first recording. So it's a different time. But let's talk more about you. What made you start playing the drums?
You know, my father is a musician. He his birthday was last week. 76 years old.
76 years young.
Yeah, young, yeah. And he started with music at the very early age, to about 5 years. He was performing at at circuses, and that kind of thing. And I was born in this field, in this musical field, in this environment. But he never encouraged me to play anything. When I was 9, I said to him, I want to play drums. He said, oh shit. No. He didn't say that. He said, okay. Because he's a guitarist.
He said, I'm a guitarist and my son wants to be a drummer. Oh, I'm going to kill myself.
Yeah. All we did for you. And he said an interesting for a 9-year-old kid. He said, all right, so I'll put you in a very good music school because this business, it ain't easy. Okay, I didn't understand that at the time, but so I was 9 years old. I began to play drums, not drums properly, but orchestral percussion. And 6 months, a year later, properly drums together with the percussion.
But what made you choose the drums? Like, you don't
I don't know, man. When I was, my parents tell a story that when I was in my mother's belly, he sat my mother on the couch and put Led Zeppelin for me to hear. That's
okay. That's the explanation
probably
right there.
That's it. I don't know, but they tell me also that I had 4 cradle. That's the word, right?
Yeah.
My English is rusty. I'm sorry. And I broke all 4 of them.
Really?
Oh.
I was like da 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 until they broke. The last one was a metal one. Metal.
Wow.
No.
Out of wood. Yeah.
Oh, man.
So I think the drums chose me.
Okay. Have your daughters broke any cradles, Kira?
No.
So they're not going to be drummers then. I'm sorry.
Well, I don't know.
I'm just kidding. Come on.
My little one, she finds the stick. I put it out places and she just finds it and it's like banging on stuff. I'm like, okay.
So you're screwed too, Kira. She's going to be
That's
a drummer.
mine. Give it back.
All right. That's life.
So I guess I wanted to ask you about what you do when you coach teachers or drummers. I think that's what I was reading on your website, and I wanted to know a bit more about your approach to teaching and to supporting other teachers.
Other teachers, all right. Well, I guess what I try to show them is exactly what we were talking about in the beginning. That kids, students in general, they should have a major contact with music, not only the technical or the traditional, I don't know, aspect of the thing, but you know, once a student of mine, he started to play drums because of, what's the name of that kid from Canada, that singer, Justin Bieber. And he saw Justin Bieber playing drums on his show, and he was fascinated, and he wanted to play drums. So, okay, so as the time went on, and on the classes I was showing him new things, new drummers, new artists, new music. There was one day when I showed them Yen Pace, Deep Purple, and he's never heard of it. And I remember playing him You Fool No One. All right, his eyes, I will never forget. Vroom. And he asked me, why nobody showed me this before? I think that's the point. And that's what the other teachers should be alert. That music comes first before all. The greatest proof of that, in my opinion, is that there are many, many, many good musicians that never had a lesson.
Exactly.
So what's the connection? What's missing? I think that's the point.
Yeah. Well, you were lucky because your student saw Justin Bieber playing the drums. I had once this woman, she came for lessons, and I asked, do you have a favorite drummer, or do you like a band who the drummer is very good? And she said, no, but I love George Michael. Okay, okay.
At least his reference was a musical one.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. Well, I had people who came here, and I asked, you know, do you like, what kind of music do you like? You have a favorite drummer? And the answer was like, no. I woke up this morning and I decided I need a hobby, so drumming it is. Oh, okay, works for me. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So my question is, since we're talking, it's impossible to talk to you and not talking about teaching, because you've been doing this for a long, long time. Who was crazy enough to hire a 14-year-old to teach drums?
That was an accident, you know, because I had an older friend. We were
Who was
both
15?
students. He was 19.
Oh, okay, all right.
But he already was a teacher at a local school here in this town. It's crazy because I was very far away from this town for years, and last year I moved back. So, but I guess he asked me, can you substitute me? That was on Thursday. No, Tuesday, and the class was on Thursday. Am I right?
I don't know. I wasn't there.
Oh yeah, 2 days apart. The notice and the class.
Okay.
And I guess he wasn't finding anyone to substitute him. So I was the last alternative, I guess. And so he asked me. I said, okay. But as I always did, I always accept this calls without thinking, you know. And after that, I began to think, well, I never did that before. What am I gonna do? All right. So in my way to the school, in the bus, I was thinking about that, and I suddenly realized, well, you have the example of your own teacher. So I came into the school, and the secretary, okay, can I help you? You're looking for information about the classes, no? I was very little. I am little. I was more, I don't know the word.
Even smaller.
Oh, smaller, exactly. And I told her, no, I'm here to teach. And and her eyes again, boom. Wait a minute. And she went into the secretary, I don't know, and the owner of the school came. Are you to teach substituting Eduardo? I said, yes. He looked at his watch and, well, it's about time. He realized he didn't have time to call anybody else. And that was my beginning as a teacher, and it was wonderful.
I bet it was.
5, 6 classes that afternoon, and it was very nice. And I realized at that moment, at that occasion, that it was a very good thing for me, that
Cool.
I felt good about it. You know?
Nice.
Yeah.
I always try to picture the image of this 14-year-old arriving and saying, I'm going to teach today. And the secretary goes, what?
Yeah.
And was it like,
go ahead, sorry.
Was it like one-to-one or a group?
Individual classes.
Okay.
Oh. Curiously, I always thought that way. There is always individually. I never had a group class or anything like that.
Question is, do you remember what you taught on that first day?
Oh, the basics, man. They were all beginners. So, stick control and realistic rock, that kind of thing.
That was at that time.
Also some Brazilian books also.
Yeah, but
they were rockers, man.
Yeah,
so,
but realistic rock was a big book at that time, right?
Yeah,
it was like the go-to book for beginners.
Yeah, everybody studied that book.
I did. I have it here.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow. Look at that.
She's young. She doesn't understand these things.
I'm loving it. I want to order it right now.
The cover says everything. That's how a drummer should look like. A drummer shouldn't look like this. A drummer shouldn't look like that. This is how a drummer should look like. Where's this? Oh, here it is.
We need to find that guy.
Which year is this copy?
Sorry?
Which year?
Let me see. Carmine Pis, that this is, I think,
Because
it doesn't.
the cover is old.
Yeah. The cover's old. I think is. It doesn't say here, unfortunately, but I think it's 82 or 83.
Right.
No, 79.
He
Yeah.
was playing with Rod Stewart
He
back
was
then.
playing with Rod Stewart at this time.
Yeah.
That explains everything. Look at his outfit.
So, question, very important. Who was your first, I'm not saying your biggest influence, but your first drum idol?
John Bonham. Because of my father, because of the music we've been listening to back then, and because of the drummers who played with my father also.
Okay.
They were all heavy drummers, very good drummers, and inspired by Bonzo. But then I met Stuart Copeland and Neil Peart. And then my mind changed. But the first one was John Bonham.
Cool.
Yeah.
Funny, I didn't know that.
There's always time to learn.
There's always time to learn, and you think you know the people, and you don't.
Be careful.
Sure.
I wanted to ask you about singing and drumming, because I saw that amazing video. Everyone go and check it out on your website. Inner Light.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved it. It was just my cup of tea. Like,
I'm glad.
brilliant. Like, I could tell, I feel like I knew who your influences were maybe before even talking to you today. And I just thought, I like this. So, one, is it on an album? Where can we get it? And
yeah, but it's out of print. But you can, I can send it to you. And it's in its entirety on YouTube also.
cool. Okay.
It's one of my favorite songs of all times. And
I
he
love
wrote
it.
and he wrote everything.
Yeah, I
Almost
was
everything.
just like, what?
Almost everything. Music, lyrics, they're mine. The music is mine with a friend. We did the parts of the song, and I did the melody.
Cool. So now answer Kira's question. Sorry.
So yeah, I really loved that. Really, really enjoyed it. And so my question is about how can you get better at, for the younger drummers or inexperienced drummers who aren't used to singing at the same time.
Yeah.
How can you get your breathing under control? Like, this is for my personal gain too, because I've had to sing and drum, and it's not easy.
No.
So I'd like to know any tips you have to getting better.
It's not easy, but it's not difficult as well. If you know the tricks. Let me tell you something. I began singing before I began drumming. I was about 5, 6 years old, and my father, how can I say that? There were some gigs, children choirs in some records or jingles or spots or TV commercials, that kind of thing. And my father took me to do those jobs, you know. So I began singing at the very early age. When I began to play, we had a guitar player. He was the lead singer. and I wanted to sing also. So I began to do the backing vocals. And occasionally I started to do some leads, some songs, and that evolved. And suddenly I noticed that, well, I can do that. And after that practical, uh, that 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 practical aspect of the thing, I began to try to understand what I was already doing. You know, nobody taught me. Uh, so I began to understand that I was doing that naturally, and it was going okay. So I started to paying attention, being more cerebral, trying to understand what I was doing naturally. And I realized that I was breathing a lot more than if I was just playing drums. I my my breathing were more profound, you know. I the process of inspiration, exhalation, they were more profound. That was happening naturally, you know. So a few years ago, I launched this DVD, you know, the Baterista Creativo, oh, the creative drummer. Okay, so
it's an instructional video.
Yeah. And in this video, there's one chapter that I talk about exactly this matter. And I give some examples on how you can start to do that. If you don't do, you already does. But trying to play songs that are simple in drumming and in singing. Some Beatles songs, some Creedence songs, some songs from the early age of rock and roll that are nice songs, good songs, enjoyable, and you can do both without getting crazy, you know? And to start doing both separately, you sing first and you keep singing until you're comfortable with it. And you drum and you keep drumming until you're comfortable with it. And then you start to try to mix those things. And it usually works. And you can end up like Phil Collins or Dean Castorno or me. That's a sad thing, but okay.
Just a curiosity for Kira. His father in the 70s was a huge star in Brazil. Oh. But the funny thing is, his father used to sing in English and changed the name. So everybody thought in Brazil that his father was American.
Yeah.
Because his surname is Gonzales, which is a Spanish, right? But his father's artistic name is Dave McLean.
McLean.
Yeah.
That's curious, because the soap there's a major TV station here in Brazil that's famous for his soap operas, you know. And in the 70s, they didn't want to pay royalties. So they started to create their own artists and songs in English for certain characters of the soap operas, you know. And they hired my father to do one song and then an LP. But the curious thing was that song was a hit, and everyone started to ask, "Who is Dave McLean? Who is Dave McLean?" Eventually, he appeared, but it was a fake name. You understand? It was an accident. But he made huge success in all Latin America and the south of United States also.
Wow.
That's impressive.
That's very impressive, yeah.
And that's why everybody asks, but your name is not André McLean? No. Don't lie.
So we only have 5 minutes now. If you don't mind, Kira, I would ask the last question. Or do you have something you want to ask?
No, go ahead, please.
Okay. What is it about New Peart that changed your mind?
Well, when I started playing, I already told you, I was hooked on John Bonham. And a friend of my mother said to me, "So you started playing drums. All right, let me show you a record." And he came with 2112. And that was a mind-blowing experience for a guy who's listening to drum gods like Bonham, Baker, Copeland. But New Peart was different because he was a multi-percussionist. He was flamboyant. He was creative. He was a lyricist.
And how old were you when you first
9.
learned? 9. Wow.
9.
Wow.
But I always enjoyed songs with great lyrics. I like that. And of course, he was a master on it.
Yes.
So he was the perfect pack, for me. Perfect, a creative drummer, a bold drummer. He was not afraid of being influenced by other drummers, contemporary drummers also. I see a lot of drummers nowadays. I don't listen too much to drummers today. No, he was listening to the drummers for that moment in being influenced by them, and that's humble, That's clever.
Yes. Humble and
First
clever.
place, yeah. And every record Rush released was a surprise, was a different record, and that was a fresh of cool air of they were an example of how you can be a good musician and a great artist, so since then I'm a fan from that moment on.
I know it's not fair. Do you have a favorite Rush album?
No. I can tell you my favorite Rush album today. Tomorrow will be another. That's
Okay.
the thing.
Well, unfortunately, that's all the time we have.
Oh,
Thank you very much for accepting our invitation. Kira, do you want to say
thank
anything?
you. I didn't know Kira. Nice to meet you, Kira.
You too. Thank you so much. Your English is
watching.
amazing. So thank you.
Sorry, my English, it's rusty, but
No, it's perfect.
It was a pleasure. And
the message came across, so that's the most
right.
important thing.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So that was it, episode 26. See everybody on episode 27.
Yay.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.